Hello guys, welcome to the channel. Like and subscribe to the channel and please tell us what you want to hear about. Story number 1. The Russian Sleep Experiment. Log entry, classified, date redacted. They told me I was lucky to be chosen. A chance to serve the motherland. A chance to witness human evolution. I was 23, fresh out of the academy. Hungry. Loyal. Naive. They didn't tell me I'd be feeding rats in hell. We were 6 men in total. 5 were subjects. I was the observer. The facility, buried beneath layers of concrete and frost, was a secret Cold War relic. No windows, just hallways that echoed, doors that hissed when they opened, lights that flickered like they were afraid to stay on too long. And that room, that sealed glass chamber where the experiment took place. Day 1. We introduced the gas. The Soviets had developed it in secret, an airborne stimulant designed to keep soldiers awake indefinitely. The subjects were political prisoners. All male. Mid-30s. Promised freedom if they lasted 30 days without sleep. They laughed at first. Made jokes. Played cards. Told stories. On the other side of the glass, I watched them like ants in a jar. They waved at me. Smiled. They had no idea what was coming. Day 5. Something changed. Their skin turned pale. Eyes bloodshot, blinking slower than usual. They stopped talking. Just stared at the walls. I remember one of them, Victor, scratching the same corner over and over as if something behind it was whispering his name. At night, the mic picked up soft mumbling. Don't let it in. It's underneath my skin. I can taste the color of silence. I should have pulled the plug then, but the scientists said it was progress. Day 9. They screamed for 6 hours straight. No words. Just raw, endless screaming like their lungs were trying to escape their bodies. Then, as suddenly as it began, silence. No movement. I checked the monitor. All vitals still active. They were awake. Just not there anymore. That night I heard footsteps in the hallway behind me. Turned around. Nothing. But the air smelled wrong. Like copper. And rotting teeth. Day 12. The glass was smeared with blood. But no wounds were visible on any of them. One man stood in the center, naked, trembling, and smiling, while the others circled him in perfect synchronization, whispering gibberish in unison. They hadn't slept in 288 hours. When I reported this, they said, "Fascinating. Keep observing." That's when I knew. We weren't the observers anymore. They were watching us. Day 15. Security footage caught one of the subjects eating something in the corner. We zoomed in. It was his own tongue. He had torn it out with his fingernails and was chewing it slowly, eyes locked on the camera the whole time. No expression. No sound. Just chewing. One of the scientists vomited. Another left and never came back. I stayed. Why? Because something in me wanted to know what came next. And something in me whispered, "You already know." Day 17. The gas malfunctioned. Pipes hissed. Pressure dropped. We had no choice. We had to open the chamber. 5 soldiers suited up. I watched from the main bay as the door seal cracked and hissed open for the first time in 2 weeks. The smell hit them instantly. Rot. Blood. Feces. Rust. And something worse, something sweet like rotting fruit soaked in perfume. What happened next was never officially recorded, but I remember every second. The first soldier stepped in and said, "Stand down. Lie on the floor." A subject, what used to be Victor, lunged from the shadows, skin hanging loose, ribs showing, mouth open too wide. He bit clean through the soldier's neck. Arterial spray hit the glass. 2 more soldiers ran. 1 slipped. They dragged his body out, screaming, half of his face gone. The others in the chamber didn't move. They just sat in the blood, smiling, rocking. whispering, "We no longer wish to sleep. Sleep is the lie. Sleep is the voice that forgets. We have remembered. And we are awake." We resealed the chamber. The man they captured, barely human, was strapped down and sedated. I was assigned to monitor him. He didn't blink for 5 hours, just stared at the ceiling. Then his lips cracked open and he said, "Do you know what's on the other side of sleep, officer?" I didn't answer. He chuckled, a wet, broken sound. "You dream of angels, but they are only masks. And masks rot too." Day 20. They ordered a full termination of the test. Gas off. Power down. Subjects euthanized. I volunteered to inject the final subject. Why? Because I had to see it. Had to know. He was strapped to the table, emaciated but grinning, eyes black, teeth bloody. As I pressed the needle in, he whispered, "Why are you afraid to sleep when it's the only place they can't reach you? You've let it in too. Haven't you noticed the scratching behind your eyes?" I dropped the syringe. That night, I dreamed for the first time in weeks. But it wasn't a dream. It was a window. I saw 5 figures standing in a circle. In the center was me, wide awake, screaming. Final log entry, file sealed. I was discharged the next day, told never to speak of it. They buried the chamber, burned the tapes. But I know what I saw, what I heard, what I felt inside me when the lights went out. And now you do too. So tell me, when was the last time you truly slept? And more importantly, who was watching you while you did? Story number 2. The Pinky Pinky. A South African urban legend. Only girls can see it. Only pink can attract it. But no one escapes it. Diary entry, Nokuthula M. Day 1. They say if you wear pink, it'll come for you. They say it hides in the bathrooms, the girls' bathrooms. They say it only shows itself to children. But what they don't say is the worst part. It doesn't kill you right away. It waits. It listens. It whispers your name at night until you answer. My name is Nokuthula. I'm 12. I go to Makaya Primary School just outside Johannesburg. It's an old school, cracked bricks, rusted gates, and windows that never fully shut. The bathrooms are at the edge of the playground, away from the classrooms, by the tree with the hollow trunk. That's where it lives. That's where she went missing. That's where I last saw Bali. Day 2. Bali wore pink. Pink hair ties. Pink socks. Pink glitter pen. She was the bravest in our group. The loudest. The one who dared people to say Bloody Mary in the mirror. The one who laughed when others ran. 2 days ago, she went into the bathroom after lunch. She didn't come back. We thought she was pranking us. Until we heard the scream. It wasn't like a scared scream. It was like she saw something she knew. Like her body remembered something her mind had forgotten. When the teacher opened the bathroom door, nothing was there. No Mbali. No blood. No broken windows. Just a pink sock on the floor. Wet. Still warm. Day 4. They tell us to stay calm. To not spread rumors. That she ran away. But kids talk. And we all know the stories. They say Pinky Pinky is a creature that lives between stalls. It doesn't walk. It crawls. It smells like old water and burnt hair. Some say it was once a boy who died in the girls' toilets after being beaten for being too soft. Others say it's not human at all. Only one thing is always true. If you wear pink, it will find you. Day 5. I wore pink today. Not much, just a single shoelace. I had to know if it was real. After lunch, I went to the bathroom alone. Every step felt heavier. The sun was gone behind clouds. The hallway felt longer. The bathroom door creaked. It was colder inside. One of the stalls was closed. I could see something wet pooling beneath it. Drip, Drip, drip. I called out, "Mbali!" No answer. I pushed the stall open. It was empty, but the walls, they were scratched. Fingernails, desperate, deep, words written over and over. "Don't answer it. Don't wear pink. It's inside the walls." I turned to leave, but the lights flickered. The door slammed shut, and from the stall next to me, I heard breathing. Not mine, not normal, wet, guttural, close. Then a whisper, "Your shoelace is pink." I ran, didn't even look back. I don't know how I got back to class, but I did. Everyone stared. I thought they'd ask what happened, but no one said anything. Only one girl passed me a folded note under her desk. I opened it. "You heard it too. Day 7. Bali is still gone. No news, no updates, just silence from teachers and prayers from parents. And every day more of us whisper. One girl won't go near the stalls anymore. Another says she hears scratching behind the mirrors. I looked in the mirror today, and for just a second, I saw her face behind mine, but it wasn't Bali. It was wrong, twisted, smiling. Day 9. I made a mistake. I brought a pink pencil case today. It wasn't on purpose, I just forgot. During break, I felt it. Something watching me. I went to the bathroom again. Couldn't help it. Something was pulling me. This time, the lights didn't flicker. This time, they went out completely. Pitch black, but I wasn't alone. I heard whispers. "Mbali, come back. You're not done yet." Then a face, right in front of mine, as like ink, mouth torn open, like it had ripped itself into a smile. And from that mouth, a voice, Mbali's voice, but wrong. "You brought pink. Now you stay too." I screamed, ran into the stall, locked it, but the thing it followed, clawed at the door, scraped and scraped until I couldn't scream anymore. I blacked out. When I woke up, I was in the nurse's office. They said I fainted. They said there's no record of anyone named Mbali in our class. Her desk is gone. Her books are gone. Even the teacher acts like she never existed. But I remember. We all do. Even if we can't say her name anymore without bleeding from the nose. Final diary entry and signed. They say the legend's just a story, but legends only survive because they're real enough to believe. So if you ever find yourself in a school with too many shadows, and you hear breathing in an empty bathroom, and something wet slides across the floor behind you, don't turn around. Don't answer it. And never, ever wear pink. Story number 3. The Slit-Mouthed Woman. Kukiseko ene. Soft wind. The hum of neon lights. Somewhere in the distance. A woman's voice, faint, whispering. Am I beautiful? Tokyo, present day. I never believed in ghost stories. Not really. Not until I met her. It started after midnight. I was walking home from the train station, headphones in, tired, scrolling my phone. Tokyo at night is supposed to be safe. That's what they tell you. But there's a silence here, a kind of silence that breathes behind you, watches you, and on that night, followed me. I passed a narrow alley, a flickering light overhead, and there at the mouth of the alley she stood, still, head tilted, long black hair hiding half her face, and that surgical mask, At first, I thought she was just another person trying to avoid a cold. She wasn't. She took one step toward me, then another, each step too slow, too measured, like her body was pretending to remember how to move. I stopped walking, slipped out one earbud. She whispered, "Am I beautiful?" I smiled nervously, trying to ignore the chill in my spine. Yeah, sure." She tilted her head the other way. Then, with one long, wet motion, she pulled the mask off. Her mouth was torn open from ear to ear, jagged, exposed, like someone had tried to carve a second smile into her face and stopped halfway. The flesh was raw, still bleeding, like it was fresh. And then she asked again, "Am I beautiful now?" I ran. Didn't think. Didn't look back. But her voice followed me loud and cracked, echoing through the alley. "Am I beautiful now? Am I beautiful now?" I didn't sleep that night. Didn't tell anyone. But it didn't end. Because the next day I saw her again. Day 2. She was standing at the entrance of the train station. Same mask. Same long hair. Staring straight at me from behind the crowd. And this time she waved. That night, I locked every door, closed every curtain, left the lights on. But around 2 a.m., I heard breathing. Not mine, not from the hallway. It was in my room. I turned over slowly, heart racing, and there by the window was her silhouette. Her hair floated slightly like it was underwater. Her mask was gone, and she whispered, "Am I beautiful now?" I screamed. Lights flicked. She was gone. The next morning, there were fingernail scratches on the inside of my window glass. Day 4, I finally told someone. My coworker, Amy. She froze, then said softly, "You answered her. You weren't supposed to answer. Now she's marked you." She told me the legend. Kukasekana, a woman mutilated by her jealous husband. Pair of scissors. A face sliced open to keep her from smiling at another man again. Now she wanders, masked, asking the same question over and over. "Am I beautiful?" If you say no, she kills you on the spot. If you say yes, she shows you her face. And then she kills you anyway. But there's a trick. You have to confuse her. Answer with something she doesn't expect. Like, "You're average." Or, "You look fine." Long enough to escape. If you can run. Day 5. I didn't go outside. Didn't answer the door. Didn't answer my phone. But when I turned on my TV, the screen went black, and her reflection appeared. On my TV. Smiling, whispering, "Am I beautiful now?" I smashed the TV, and behind me, in the cracked screen, I saw her standing right behind me. Day 6, the final night. I had enough. I took the train to an old temple outside the city. One said to protect against evil spirits. The monk asked me, "Did she show you her face?" I nodded. He shook his head. "Then she's already inside." That night I tried to sleep, but I woke to the sound of scissors. Snip, 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 getting closer, under my bed, then beside me, then inside my head. I opened my eyes, and she was hovering above me, face wide open, eyes weeping blood, and in her hand rusted scissors. I choked out the words, You look fine." She paused, eyes twitching, mouth twitching. Then she laughed. "Liar." I woke up in the hospital. My mouth was sewn shut, jagged, broken stitches. My own blood soaked the pillow. They said I had done it to myself. But I know the truth. And now, every time someone says I look Fine. I hear her laughing again. Am I beautiful now? Story number 4. The Lady in White. Journal entry, October 12th, 2022. I'm not crazy. I just picked up the wrong person. I was driving through Brasilia at night, the EPA highway, a long, straight road through the heart of nowhere. It was raining, the kind that makes the world blurry, water smearing across the windshield like tears. And then, I saw her. She was standing at the edge of the road. No umbrella, no phone, just standing there in a white dress that clung to her like second skin. I slowed down. She didn't wave, didn't look panicked, just turned her head and looked at me like she'd been waiting. Where are you headed? I asked. She spoke softly, her voice barely audible over the rain. Home. So I let her in. She didn't say much, but I remember her smell like old perfume and wet roses. I asked her name. Marina. She said it so quietly I wasn't sure I heard right. Her hands were clasped tightly in her lap. Her eyes, dark and wide, were fixed on the road. After a minute, she whispered, I live near the cemetery. We drove for 20 minutes. No signs, no houses, just endless wet road and tall trees swaying like they were trying to lean in closer. Eventually, she pointed. Turn here. The road wasn't marked. Just a dirt path overgrown with weeds, slick with mud. I hesitated, but some deep, cold instinct told me to listen. So I turned. The trees swallowed us. No street lights, no signals. The GPS lost connection. I asked, Are you sure this is the way? She nodded, but when I glanced at her in the mirror, she was crying. We reached a rusted gate. Beyond it, a crumbling wall, cracked headstones, and iron crosses poking up through weeds. A cemetery, old, forgotten. She unbuckled her seatbelt. Thank you. Then stepped out into the rain. No goodbye, just vanished behind the gate. I sat there, confused, cold. Something wasn't right. I got out, walked to the gate, looked inside, and there, just a few feet beyond, was a headstone, freshly placed. The name on it? Marina Duarte, 1997 to 2022. Taken too soon. I froze, checked the car. The seat was dry. No prints, no droplets, no trace of her. I left the cemetery, didn't look back, didn't speak, didn't tell anyone, until the nightmares started. 1 week later, every night I see her, Marina, standing at the edge of my bed, her dress still soaked, her eyes still hollow, her hands still folded in her lap, and she whispers, I never made it home. Thank you for trying. But then, her mouth opens wider, too wide, her skin tears, and she screams, but there's no sound, just blood flooding out like rain. Police report filed 3 days later. I finally told someone, a detective at the local station. When I told him the story, he stared at me for a long time, then said, You're not the first. Every year, someone reports seeing her. Same dress, same road, same ending. But Marina Duarte died 10 years ago. Car crash, right near the cemetery. She was wearing a white dress. He showed me a photo. It was her. Exactly her. Same face. Same eyes. I left the station in silence. And when I got back to my car, there was a handprint on the inside of my windshield. Wet. Faint. Still dripping. Final journal entry, November 1st. I still see her. On sidewalks. In crowds. In the back seat when I check the mirror. Always soaked. Always silent. I don't drive at night anymore. But sometimes around 2 a.m. my car alarm goes off. And when I check the dash cam, there's movement. Just a figure in white, sitting patiently in the passenger seat, waiting to go home. Story number 5. Background: real urban legend. The midnight game is an old pagan ritual allegedly used as punishment. You summon the midnight man into your home at 12 a.m. and try to survive the night. You must follow these rules. 1. Light a candle. 2. Knock on your front door 22 times. 3. Open the door, for let him in. 5. Keep the candle from going out. 6. Never stay in one place too long. 7. Never taunt him. And 8. Break a rule, you'll meet him, the Midnight Man. March 17th, 2023, 11:50 p.m. My friends dared me to try it. I live alone now, so they thought it'd be funny. It's just a game, they said. It's all over Reddit, they said. I read the rules out loud, half laughing. But something about them felt too specific. Like someone hadn't made them up. Like someone had survived them. Still, I prepared. Candle, matches, paper and pen, a few drops of my own blood. My name on the page. At 11:59 p.m., I stood at my front door, heart racing, match ready. Knock, knock, knock. I knocked 22 times. On the last knock, right at midnight, I opened the door and blew out the match. Then I lit the candle. I let him in. At first, nothing happened. I walked slowly around my house, candle burning. I laughed, told myself I was dumb. Then the lights flickered, but all the power was already off. The candle's flame bent sideways, as if exhaling away from something. I turned toward the hallway. It was darker than it should have been, and then I felt it. Not cold, not heat, not wind. I felt watched. Tick, tick, tick. They say the Midnight Man can't be seen, but if your candle goes out, you'll know he's close. And then, you have 10 seconds to relight it. At 12:27 a.m., my candle went out. No draft, no movement, just gone. Darkness swallowed the room. I fumbled for my matches. 1. Didn't light. 2. Snapped in half. 3. Lit. I brought it to the candle, but behind the flame I saw him. A shape. Tall, bending forward, arms too long, fingers that scratched the air. No face, just black, like the idea of a person, not a person at all, and smiling without a mouth. I ran. Didn't look back. You're not supposed to stay still. So I moved room to room, candle trembling. Every time it flickered, I knew he was close. Once I passed a mirror and saw him standing behind me. 1:44 a.m. I was hiding in the bathtub. I broke the rule. I stopped moving. I thought I heard him outside the door, then above me, then in the walls, and then silence. When I stepped out, my candle was gone. Gone. No wax. No flame. Just cold. I had seconds. I struck every match I had. None of them worked. And then from the shadows, a whisper. Still playing. I felt breath on my neck. Then hands on my shoulders. I passed out. March 18 to 6:34 a.m. I woke up on the floor. The sun had risen. I was covered in bruises. Nails broken. A cut down my back that I don't remember getting. All my clocks had stopped at 3:33 a.m. I never spoke to my friends again. One of them tried it a month later. He didn't last an hour. His apartment? Empty. Blood on the walls. No body. Final rule, the one they don't print. Even if you survive. He comes back. Every night you light a candle. Every time the clock hits midnight, He watches, and he waits, because the game never ends.